Why do some men never rise? Not because others bring them down, but because they talk themselves into failure, not with fists, but with phrases that sound bold, confident, even masculine. But beneath that surface, it's fear, it's ego, it's resignation dressed as identity. The Stoics warned us, speech is the mirror of the mind. And when your words are shaped by laziness or pride, your entire life follows that blueprint. You've heard these lines before. Maybe you've said them. That's just how I am. Real men don't talk about feelings. It's not my fault. Each one chips away at your strength, your direction, your character, until one day, you're not even aware how small you've become. But this video isn't about shame. It's about awareness and the power to rebuild. Today, we're exposing 6 phrases stupid men repeat, and what a Stoic man says instead. Because words don't just express your thoughts, they shape them. They can be tools or chains. If you've ever spoken out of weakness and felt it instantly, this is your moment of clarity. Drop a comment below. I'd rather say nothing than speak like a fool. Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. This is the Stoic spirit, where we train the tongue before it betrays the mind. 1. That's just how I am. One of the most quietly destructive things a man can say is, that's just how I am. It sounds confident. It sounds like conviction. But beneath the surface, it's something else entirely. It's not strength. It's surrender. Not to a higher truth or a set of principles, but to stagnation. This phrase is a soft excuse wrapped in hard language. It's often spoken by men who confuse being rigid with being resilient, men who think that staying the same is some kind of badge of honor. But it's not honor. It's fear disguised as pride. It's ego, afraid of evolution. They don't adapt. They don't question themselves. They plant their feet and call it integrity, when in reality, they're just afraid to move. I once knew a man named Victor. Retired firefighter, commanding voice, clean cut, the kind of guy who looked like he had it all figured out. But behind closed doors, he was emotionally unreachable. Whenever his wife tried to open up about their distance, Victor would shrug and say, "Look, I've always been this way." When his daughter tried to speak to him about her struggles, he'd cut her off with, "I'm not that kind of dad." Not angry, just unavailable, detached, immovable. Over time, his house got keter, not from peace, but from absence. His family didn't erupt, they evaporated. His wife eventually stopped asking. His daughter stopped trying, and Victor stayed the same, because he mistook sameness for strength. That's what makes this phrase so dangerous. It sounds noble, it sounds firm, but it's a cage made of words. And the longer a man hides inside that cage, the more the world moves on without him. Stoic philosophy has no tolerance for this kind of self-abandonment. Seneca wrote, "As long as you live, keep learning how to live." That line doesn't just speak to youth, it speaks louder. The older you get, because as you age, life keeps testing you, life keeps shaping you, if you're willing to listen. But many men, especially later in life, confuse age with wisdom, and the truth is, they aren't the same. You can have decades behind you and still be stuck, still repeating the same excuses, still reacting the same way you did 20 years ago. That's not growth, that's decay. A man who stops evolving doesn't just freeze in place, he begins to rot. And that rot spreads silently. His language becomes mechanical. His thinking narrows. His life shrinks down to routine and resistance, until one day, all he has left is a worn-out phrase and a long list of people who got tired of waiting for him to change. The Stoic doesn't cling to his identity like armor. He refines it like a blade. He doesn't listen because he's weak. He listens because he's wise. He knows that each day gives him another shot at becoming more than he was yesterday. Discipline doesn't mean standing still. It means choosing progress over pride, even when pride screams louder. So the next time you hear yourself say, "That's just how I am," pause. Ask yourself, is this really who I am? Or is this just who I've stopped trying not to be? A Stoic man adapts, not because the world demands it, but because his soul does. And if that first phrase didn't sting, the next one will. Let's talk about the man who confuses silence with strength and uses that lie to hide from everything real. 2. Real men don't talk about feelings. Some lies are passed down like family heirlooms, worn with pride, protected like tradition. One of the most damaging is this: real men don't talk about feelings. It sounds strong, masculine, stoic, even, but it's not strength. It's fear, disguised as honor, a shield built from silence, not wisdom. Men who live by this phrase aren't proving they're tough. They're avoiding the war inside themselves. They mistake repression for resilience, as if stuffing pain into silence will make it disappear. But buried emotion don't die. They ferment. They turn into bitterness, anger, addiction, and emotional isolation. And worst of all, they turn into legacy, because the men who don't talk become the fathers who can't connect, the husbands who can't open up, the leaders no one truly knows. The damage is generational. Modern science has already caught up. Studies show that men who suppress emotion face higher risks of depression, heart disease, and early death. But long before psychology confirmed it, Stoicism had already warned us. Contrary to what many think, Stoicism isn't about ignoring your emotions. It's not emotional numbness. It's not pretending nothing hurts. True Stoicism is emotional discipline, not denial. It's not about burying what you feel. It's about understanding it, naming it, and refusing to let it rule you. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, wrote openly in his journals about grief, loss, anxiety, and fear of death. He didn't hide from what lived inside him. He faced it with stillness, with precision, with courage. That's what makes a man strong, not silence, but sovereignty over his inner world. Stoic men don't fear emotion. They fear being enslaved by unnamed feelings. They know that silence, without understanding, isn't strength, it's surrender. You don't have to cry in front of strangers. You don't have to bleed your soul out online. But you do have to stop pretending that pain makes you weak, or that numbness makes you a man. Because the truth is this: the men who never talk about what's breaking them are usually the ones breaking the most. They think being unreadable keeps them safe, but it actually keeps them alone. And those cracks they try to cover up, that's where light comes in, if you let it, to speak with clarity about what disturbs you, not as a victim, but as a man who owns his voice, is one of the rarest forms of strength. Because when you bury your emotions, you're not protecting yourself. You're building a coffin inside your own chest. You may not feel the weight now, but the people around you do. Your partner feels the wall. Your children feel the distance. Your friends sense the disconnect. You're still present, but no longer with them. That's what silence costs. And the saddest part, most men don't realize they've been hollowed out by it, until there's nothing left but echoes. Stoicism doesn't ask for silence. It demands honesty, not outward dramatics, but inward integrity. Because if you don't learn to face what's inside you, it will control you in ways you won't even notice. And eventually, someone else will suffer for the war you never had the courage to fight. So next time you feel something stir, don't suppress it. Don't deny it. Name it. Understand it. And then respond like a man of reason, not a slave to silence. Because the next phrase we'll confront is where blame begins. And when that door opens, everything noble in a man starts to rot. 3. It's not my fault. Few phrases strip a man of his power faster than this one. It's not my fault. It sounds like a defense, but underneath, it's a quiet surrender. It's the language of a man who has handed over the steering wheel of his life, who believes he's just a passenger in his own story. To say it's not my fault is to say, I have no control. I am not the cause. I'm not the one who can fix it. And that belief, it doesn't just weaken a man, it rots his core. Blame is a silent poison. It feels righteous, but it erodes the very thing that defines strength, ownership. The Stoics saw blame as a disease of the undisciplined mind. Epictetus said, "It is not events that disturb us, but our opinions about them." In other words, what breaks you isn't what happens to you. It's how you frame it, how you respond to it. And when your first instinct is to point outward, you give up your power to change, blaming the economy, blaming your parents, blaming your partner, your past, the government, your genetics, your enemies. It doesn't heal anything. It doesn't make you stronger. It only makes you smaller, more reactive, less respected, and completely detached from your ability to lead your own life. The man who makes blame a habit becomes deaf to the only voice that matters, his own. He stops asking real questions. He stops adjusting course. He waits for someone else to change, someone else to fix things, someone else to apologize. And while he waits, his dignity withers. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." But a man who refuses this truth clings to excuses, like a child clings to a blanket. He thinks comfort will protect him, but comfort without challenge is the breeding ground of mediocrity. Blame is easy. It's automatic. But responsibility, that requires structure, reflection, and the courage to ask a brutal question, what can I control right now? The answer is always simple, but never easy. Your reaction, your direction, your discipline, especially for older men, those who've carried pain for decades. There's a temptation to wear that pain like a medal, to use it as proof that they deserve to sit still, that no one should expect more from them. But hardship is not a free pass to stagnate. It's not wisdom to stay wounded. It's cowardice with a long memory. Stoicism doesn't deny pain or injustice. It simply refuses to let it rule. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." Life will grind you down. People will betray you. Plans will fall apart. But the man who endures with grace, who learns, adapts, and sharpens. He becomes unshakable. So, the next time something collapses, when the blame rises in your throat like a reflex, pause, don't speak it, don't hand over your power. Instead, say this: it's now my responsibility. That one shift, that one decision to take ownership is what separates a bitter man from a better man. And now we go deeper into that entitled mindset, into a phrase so common, it's practically cultural. It's the voice of mediocrity disguised as confidence. Let's talk about what happens when a man believes he deserves more without earning any of it. 4. I deserve better. Some men never say it out loud, but they walk through life thinking it. I deserve better. It might sound like confidence. It might sound like self-respect, but more often than not, it's a quiet whisper of entitlement. It's the belief that the world is somehow withholding from you, that people should recognize your worth, even if you haven't sharpened it in years. I knew a man named Darren, worked in finance for 2 decades, sharp suits, quick talker. But when the market shifted and younger talent began rising, he kept muttering the same line: I deserve better than this. He wasn't improving, wasn't learning, wasn't adapting, but somehow, in his mind, life owed him something simply because of time served. That phrase, I deserve better, becomes toxic when it replaces action with complaint, because the Stoic doesn't ask what he's owed. He asks what he's still building. Marcus Aurelius said, don't waste time wondering what a good man should be. Be one. The man who says, I deserve better too often, is usually doing less than he believes, while expecting more than he's earned. This mindset is dangerous because it wears the mask of virtue. It pretends to be about standards, but it's really about resentment. Entitlement is the opposite of discipline. It makes you bitter, not better. You stop improving, you stop reflecting, and you start pointing fingers at the world for not handing you what you haven't worked for. The Stoic doesn't count what he's been denied. He measures himself by how deeply he shows up in the process regardless of results. Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. That's the path. You don't wait to be seen. You become someone who doesn't need to be noticed to matter. Dissatisfaction, without discipline, becomes decay. You rot from the inside while blaming everything outside. And for many men, especially those entering their 40s, 50s, and beyond, this phrase creeps in subtly. When the applause fades, when the career slows, when the woman doesn't look at him the same, when life no longer affirms him automatically. But Stoicism isn't about being affirmed. It's about being grounded, quietly, relentlessly. Seneca wrote, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. And one of the biggest wastes is clinging to imagined value instead of creating real value. The man who always says, I deserve better lives, in a story where he is the victim of a blind world. But the Stoic writes a different script. He doesn't wait to be chosen. He becomes the kind of man who chooses himself daily through effort, honesty, and grit. So instead of asking, why don't they see my worth? Ask yourself, am I still sharpening? Because that question cuts through the noise. That question humbles. That question builds character. And in a world full of men waiting for better, be the one building it silently, fiercely, and without asking permission. 5. That's not my job. There's a phrase that sounds like responsibility, but it's really quiet resignation. I'm not doing that. It's not my job. You'll hear it from men who haven't quit outright. They've just shrunk their effort, shrunk their presence, shrunk the meaning of manhood down to a checklist of assigned tasks. It sounds like boundaries, but it's really avoidance dressed in duty. Men who hide behind this phrase often believe they're being responsible. They show up. They punch the clock. They do what's expected, but they never ask what's needed. Let me tell you about a man I once knew. His name was Mark. Middle-aged electrician, union guy, hard-working, never missed a shift in 20 years. But at home, he had a rule. Laundry, not his job. Cooking dinner, not his job. Talking through his daughter's college plans, also not his job. Emotional support for his wife, definitely not. Mark believed being a good man meant providing, so that's all he did. He brought home a paycheck, and when his wife finally left him after 25 years, he didn't yell. He just stared at the empty house and said, "I did everything I was supposed to do." But here's the truth. He did everything that was easy to measure and nothing that truly mattered. He never asked what needed to be done, only what was assigned. And that's not leadership, that's quiet retreat. The Stoics never talked about life in terms of bullet points. They spoke of purpose. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "What is your vocation? To be a good man. That's not about role, that's about readiness." A Stoic man doesn't wait to be told. He sees the gap and steps in, not because it's his job, but because it's the right thing to do. The man who says, "That's not my job," is often the one most afraid of being needed. He doesn't want to be relied on. He wants to coast, to only give what's convenient. And when that mindset takes root, his influence dies with it. Because here's what happens next. People stop trusting him. They work around him. They stop expecting him to show up in the hard moments. He's no longer someone others lean on. He's just someone others tolerate. And the saddest part, he doesn't even notice it slipping away. He thinks he's still dependable. But really, he's just available. There's a difference. Dependability means stepping in, not stepping aside. It means leading when no one asks. It means showing up where no one else wants to. That's what Stoic character demands. The phrase, "That's not my job," may protect your comfort, but it bankrupts your legacy. Because the man who only does what's expected is quietly hoping someone else will carry the weight of what he avoids. That's not strength. That's spiritual freeloading. And once you start outsourcing effort, you start outsourcing value. You become replaceable, forgettable. The Stoic doesn't seek applause. He doesn't need permission. He acts not because it's his job, but because it's his standard. Now we move from external effort to internal collapse, to the 5 words that sound harmless, almost wise, but destroy, drive from the inside out. It is what it is. 6. It is what it is. There's a phrase that sounds harmless, almost enlightened. It rolls off the tongue with the cool detachment of someone who's above it all. It is what it is. 5 short words, spoken like a shrug. But underneath that shrug is something far more dangerous than people realize. It's not wisdom, it's not acceptance, it's surrender. See, when a man says, "It is what it is," too often, he's not speaking from clarity. He's speaking from defeat. This phrase, when overused, becomes a quiet resignation to life, a gentle way of saying, "I no longer believe anything can change, so I won't even try." At first glance, It can sound stoic, like something Marcus Aurelius might whisper to himself. But don't be fooled. The Stoics didn't use phrases like this to justify apathy. They used acceptance as a launchpad for action, not a retreat into numbness. Marcus said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." That's not a statement of surrender. That's a challenge. To act anyway, to respond anyway, to fight anyway. But when a man leans on, it is what it is, day after day. He's no longer practicing stoic resilience. He's practicing emotional sedation. Over time, that phrase becomes his mask. He stops hoping. He stops trying. He stops showing up as the man he once swore he'd become. I knew a man named Jordan, mid-50s, ran a small repair business. Tough, quiet, always the guy who kept his cool. But after his divorce, his health declining, and losing touch with his kids, he'd just shrug and say, "It is what it is." He said it so often it became the background music of his life. He said it when bills stacked up. He said it when his daughter stopped returning calls. He said it even when a friend reached out to help. But what he was really saying was, "I'm tired. I'm beaten. I don't have the will to change anything anymore." That's not Stoicism. That's slow erosion. And the danger is it's silent, because no one rushes to save the man who seems fine. No one stops to help the man who says everything is just how it is. And so, he fades. Not with a crash, but with a quiet, invisible collapse. The Stoic man doesn't use indifference to cope. He uses discipline to respond with clarity, even in hardship. He doesn't mutter, "It is what it is," and move on. He pauses. He asks himself, "What can I control? What does this demand of me? What kind of man will I become if I accept this without resistance?" That's the Stoic difference. It's not detachment from life. It's engagement with reality, without being owned by it. Because there's a line between peace and passivity. And once you cross it, you stop living. You start observing your life like a stranger. A man who chooses that path isn't feared. He isn't loved. He isn't respected. He's simply forgotten. And that is the cruelest fate of all. To be a man once filled with fire, and end up flickering out with a phrase that excuses everything. So next time, "It is what it is," rises in your throat, swallow it. Say instead, "It may be what it is, but I'm still responsible for who I am in the middle of it." Because that's where your strength lives, in the space between what's happening and how you rise to meet it. Every man leaves a legacy, sometimes in the steps he takes, sometimes in the words he repeats. Most people won't judge you by your ambitions, not even your past. They'll judge you by what slips out when no one's watching, when the mask is off, when you're not trying to perform. And those 6 phrases, they're not harmless. They're not just how guys talk. They are weakness, hardened into habit. And the longer you repeat them, the more they become who you are. But here's the truth. That version of you, the one built on excuses, on silence, on denial, it's not the final chapter, not unless you let it be. The Stoics knew this. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. Speak like a victim, and you suffer like one. Speak with clarity, even in silence. And you begin to rebuild something stronger than reputation. You build character. A Stoic man doesn't impress with noise. He moves with intention. He speaks with discipline. And when he chooses silence, it echoes louder than empty words ever could. If something hit you in this message, don't run from it. Lean into it. Drop a comment below. I choose clarity over comfort. Like this video, subscribe for more wisdom, and remember, the world hears the wise not because they shout, but because they speak, and the world leans in